Tally, the YouTube channel. My name is Talia. If you've never experienced me before, I'm so happy that you decided to join me today. I do a lot of paralegal content, lifestyle content, sometimes a little fashion, not here lately, but it's a good educational time over here. So if you are interested, make sure you are subscribed. And if you have been rocking with me, make sure to thumbs up this video and leave me a comment in the underneath comment area. But hey, happy New Year's to you guys. How are you? I hope everything is, personally, let me say that I hope everything personally is working out well for you guys. So I'm coming to you guys natural. I washed my hair last night and this is literally just like dried hair. But y'all know how shrinkage go. I'm not even gonna go there and upset myself. Okay, so my 2020 wrap up. One, I'm doing it later than normal. You guys know I usually start the year with this video. In the past few years, just did not happen this year. So it is actually January 11th that I'm filming this. So yeah, girl, better late than never. So let's get into it. Let me first say that I don't think that anyone, no matter their background, no matter where they were in the world, can say that they were not affected in any way, shape, or form by 2020. I don't think anyone can say that. And if you are saying that, I don't believe you, because everything that's been going on, not just in the US, but globally, has been crazy, right? Everything too here on the home front that has been going on has also been crazy. And I will say that 2020 was the year that I paid attention to news more than ever, because we are getting to a point, both in the Black community and in the community for us as human beings, where we can no longer, I don't watch the news because of this, I don't keep up with this because of this. To do that is to be ignorant, and there's no time for it anymore, right? There is no time to not be abreast on what's going on. There's no time to not educate yourself on what is happening around you and being super hyper aware. My mom used to tell us all the time that your strife is going to be more because you're a Black woman in America, and there's a lot of things you don't have time for, just simply because society will not allow you to. And I have never felt that as much as I did in 2020. There was so much going on, with police brutality, with racism in our faces, behind closed doors. There are so many in the church. There were so many things going on that I don't even feel, as an African American woman, that I had time to even process everything. I'm still reading articles and seeing news things, of incited violence and things that were going on that, happened in July and August, and crazy, and all the crazy things that I have not even had time to fully process and fully immerse myself. I have just been trying to 2020 was literally, for me, take it day by day. And it started like that, and unfortunately it finished like that. And I think maybe that's the tone for 2021 for me as well. Take it day by day. So what I want to remind you before I get to myself personally is that just because it's not happening to you personally doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you. I don't care what race you are, because what happens to trans lives it'll escalate into non-trans lives. What happens to Black lives, it'll continue to escalate to non-Black lives. So don't think because it's not happening directly to you, in your neighborhood, in your face, to your persons, that it doesn't affect you, because we've seen more than I think ever before that that's a complete lie. Okay, so let's do that. And I think it is time that we start treating people like people. I don't give a good goddamn what your color is, what your sexual preference is, what you have transformed yourself to be. I don't care. If you're a living, breathing body, I'm treating you better than I treat myself, because that is what we're supposed to do. But don't be fooled. That doesn't mean let people walk all over you. That damn sure don't mean let people talk to you any kind of damn way, right? It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be, you know, on point and super hyper vigilant and how and just say, oh, you know, they did me wrong, I'll just keep it. No, that's not what that means. It's not what that means. Very much my greatest message right now is to try to treat people better than they treat you, but don't be fooled. Don't mess with them anymore if they do you wrong. And take people, y'all know the old people say all the time, when people show your colors, believe who they are. And it's time for us to start believing who people are and adjusting and treating them as such. Okay? And you can do that and not be crass or rude or nasty. But yeah. Okay. So let's talk about me personally. Well, personally for me, 2020 was not that shitty. I know the strife of a lot of people, a lot of things happened, but for me, 2020 was not a terrible year. And I've had some fucked up years. 2019 can keep itself. Don't want to see her, don't know her, never wanted her. Like 2018 was a tough. I just feel like despite what was going on outside of my bubble, 2020 for me personally, just me myself, it was not a bad year. I started the year, I ended 2019 with no job, and I had some job prospects, but I didn't know how it was going to go or how it was going to turn out. And I started 2020 with a job in an area that I had continued to work with, so it wasn't like I had to shift anything, you know, gas wise and things like that. I didn't have to get caught up on my bills from not having not worked because of how everything panned out, me leaving my previous company. So it wasn't like I was in a bad place. And at first I did my best to make the best out of the situation. I checked my feelings in my car and walked in there and did my best. And I can actually say that I did that. I did my best even when they started being nasty to me, even when they started the unprofessionalism, even when everything else started. I still walked in there like, I'm not phased. I'm going to do my best and be my best, because it's not about you. It's about me. And what I learned from just doing that is your experience is literally what you make it. You can either let people drag you down, and I'm talking about, I was the youngest person in there. These was old ass people that should know better and how to treat people, you would think. But what I also learned is don't assume that people, because of, I don't know, because of maybe their age or because of their place in society, don't assume that they know better, right? Don't assume that they know that they shouldn't treat you that way or that it's not, because there never before had I seen that amount of crap that I seen at that small little firm that I worked for. But I started the year on a high note. I started with a job. I started building my paralegal experience. But it was rough. Let me say that it was rough. And what it ultimately did was force me, even more than I previously done, to realize from where my strength comes from, to realize from where my provision comes from. And it wasn't from that damn job, it was from my Heavenly Father. And so what I realized more than ever, and I knew this in the back of my head, like, you know how like you know but you don't really know, if that makes sense. I knew that the Lord was concerned, because the Lord is concerned about everybody, whether you believe in him or not, whether you are obedient to what he says or not. He's concerned for you anyway. And he's concerned about everything, all of your feelings, all of your doubts, everything. And nothing proved that to me more than me in that job. I struggled so much. I was calling my mom every week, if not every few days, just like, I cannot, like, it was so draining. And I finally said to the Lord, like, I have got to get out of here. I can't take it. I cannot take it. This cannot be how it's supposed, like, this cannot be it. And furthermore, I was not going to do what I did at my previous job and sit and be complacent, because of the money wasn't even that good at my law firm. But I wasn't going to sit and be complacent and sit and be unhappy until I made my next move or worked up to what I wasn't going to do. That I would rather just be jobless, right? So as I began to really lean on the Lord to see me out, the Lord was sending me little love notes like, there's something that I want you to learn from this, but I'm taking you out. Don't think this is like your end all be all. I'm taking you out. And then the pandemic happened, and by the grace of God, I didn't lose that job. That is just when everyone's true colors really showed. I was the only one that had to go into the office while everyone else worked from home. Just a plethora of things, right, started to happen. And it was like, okay, so then it was like, okay, what are you gonna do? Are you going to, because if I took the advice of my mother was like, just get a job anywhere doing anything and then find your next step. But I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll thug it out, but I'm going to look for a new job. And not only am I going to look for a new job, I'm going to see and shine a light on my worth and go for jobs that pay me what I need, right? And that's what I did. And so what I learned through all of that crap is that you have got to, baby, stop underestimating yourself, okay? You're the bomb. And go out for jobs that maybe you don't have the experience. Maybe even though you're working on your degree, it says you need to finish your degree, apply anyway. And the worst they can tell you is no. They're not gonna fight you. So the worst they can tell you is no. And so and I said to the Lord, I said, Lord, please bless my decision, because I'm not backing down from this until I have a job. Until I have a job that I will like, that will provide for me nicely. And that was a whole journey, which you can see on my channel. I documented it, and I got a job in August, and I left, and they flipped it on me though. I put in my 2 weeks notice. They didn't let me work my 2 weeks, which was, it was fine. But yes, so that was the first thing. So I started on a good note, overall, and then, yeah, it declined, but it picked back up. So let's talk about some other bad things that happened to me. Let's start with the kind of the muck, and then we are going to end on a good note, and I'm going to share with you guys 3 very good lessons that I learned, that I think will stay with me and hopefully stay with you. Okay, So unfortunately, last year I saw my little sister, who is full of light, full of potential, beautiful being. I seen her go through things that I could have never, I never thought that she would take. Like, I never thought that she would do it. And unfortunately, I'm one of 7. All of us are different ages. It's not like we're like super close in age, but it's not super bad. We're like 4 or 5 years apart. You know what I mean? And I seen her go through things last year that, oh, girl, I mean, I'm still floored, because it was like, we were not, girl, whose mother, like, we were raised in the same household, like, how, why? And I realized that then watching my sister go through the abuse that she has suffered in her relationship, and going back to that person and putting up with things just to say that she's with that person, that was so devastating. And it's still devastating. It's still devastating, because all you can do is be supportive as much as you can, as much as they'll allow. And my sister is not even in a place to receive sound. She's not even in a place, she's so caught up in that, she's not even in a place to receive sound advice. Nor is she taking it. And it's sad, because she's lying to herself, saying, I don't have anybody, nobody this and this, and then it's just like, you have everybody, and everybody is on standby, everybody's on call, everybody's on go, ready to pop up, jump up, and help you and do whatever as soon as you're willing to accept it. And what I learned from that is, we put ourselves in these cycles, and until we decide to change our mindset and get out of these cycles, we're constantly cycling, right? So that was shit, but not my battery finna die. Oh, my man. So that was also something bad. And unfortunately, my sister has a small child, and so he was subject to things that he didn't need to be subject to. I lacked the communication skills that I thought I did so well to build up. And what I mean by that is, I did not advocate for myself as much as I know that I can, and I know that I should have done. And that sucks, because it put me in situations, and it put me in a lot of things. It's just like, if I would have just spoke up and said what I needed to say, instead of like, I would be better off. So that was something bad, because I worked so hard to advocate for myself and push for myself, and not be intimidated by people and things and all that kind of stuff, to speak up for myself properly and effectively, not in, you know, how I was raised to do. Don't play. So I was raised by Black women, so I can cuss you out, baby. But that doesn't always get you what you need. You know what I mean? Doesn't always get you where you need to go. So unfortunately, I stumbled on that a lot, and I seen the negative effects that it can have on that. Okay, you guys, so I am back. My camera had to charge, and I don't know exactly where I was, and I hope you guys are not at an obscure angle. Okay, so hopefully you guys can like see me, and hopefully everything is fine. It looks okay from the viewfinder, but with these things, you never know until you start to edit and realize the shit went left. So anyways, so the last thing I was talking about was communication. So another bad thing that I struggled with on a personal level in 2020 was my self-image. I struggled a lot with feeling confident. That's why there was a lack of post of me visually on social media. I come on my vlogs all the time, you know, on my work weeks in my life all the time, because they are literal what's going on. But Instagram wise, I just was not feeling it. And honestly, I'm not sure what it stemmed from. I know that this year I had to work on some things health wise, and some struggles, internal struggles that I've been dealing with for years, and a lot of things, you know, personal in nature to myself, including my hydronitis, and getting that maintained and under control. And yeah, it was a struggle, but I persevered and kept going. The last time I posted a photo of myself on social media was April, and I still have not posted one. So that is something that I'm going to lean into more and work on more this year. But yeah, I also just was not digging all of the pressures, I guess you could say, of all of the perfection and things that social media requires, and to get the engagement and all of that, blah blah blah. So that's something I struggle with. Let's move into good things that happened to me. Let's go. So I can say that 2020, my good personally outweighed my bad. And that's a first. That's the first time that's happened in a really long time. I got a new job that I actually enjoy, that pays me well, and that's the first time that I've had that, to where so I'm starting off at a good salary, at a great salary, and it's not like before where I had to work my behind off and work up to that good salary. I already started there. I'm already starting there. So everything that comes with it, with the bonuses, with the thing, it's just extra. It's just extra. And working at that law firm taught me that you have got to go for what you need. Stop settling because of fear. Do not allow fear to make you settle for something that's not serving you. And it won't ever serve you. Honestly, if you're and this is part of one of my lessons, but if you're in a place that is not serving you on any capacity, it'll never serve you. Not to say that the Lord could not turn that situation around, because at my last job, he really did. At my corporate job, I'll call it, I started there in a bad situation. It was terrible. And the Lord literally worked it out for my good. And I walked away with more than a lot of people that had been there, that had to leave, that had been there for decades and decades. I'd only been there for 5 years. They had been there for 11, 12, 13, 15 years that ended up leaving. They didn't even leave with as much as I'd left with in 5. So, and the Lord literally worked everything out in time. Oh, God's timing is so perfect. So good. And so that is what I learned. I learned that, but the problem was my thinking. I was okay and complacent with starting in a place that didn't serve me, out of fear that I couldn't pay this, or I couldn't lean on someone else, or I was too embarrassed to ask to borrow, or whatever, what have you. And that is not good, nor is it helpful in your situation, because now I'm putting myself in a cycle of struggle when I didn't have to start there at all. So that is what that did. So I finally got it. Like, that clicked for me. Don't start something out of fear. Don't allow fear to gauge or drive you to any destination. Leave fear's dark ass, leave it right where it where it started from, in the pits of hell. Leave it right there, because that's where it belongs. It doesn't belong in any area, any parts of your life. Cast out fear and doubt with love, with compassion, with light, period. Because don't allow fear to drive or make you travel to anywhere, because it's not going to, it ain't gonna be what you think it is. Okay, so that was a good thing. It forced me to aim as big as I was dreaming. I aimed for those higher roles. I wasn't even taking calls for anybody that wanted to start me at less than what I knew that I deserved at the point that I was at then. You know what I mean? So, and what blossomed for that is I started with no job prospects during Corona. You know, everything, a lot of people weren't hiring, to having to turn down a job because my current position wanted to pay me more to keep me and bring me on. So, and it's been amazing. I literally have a great team. They are really phenomenal. I really enjoy them. I am safe working from home. They really care about the safety of their employees. I really feel valued, and it's been such a short amount of time, but they're always there. A lot of companies, and I've worked for a lot of companies too, but they always say what they're doing to boost morale and create a better work-life balance. And in the short time that I've been with my company now, I can actually see it. It's not just talk, it's action as well. A new apartment. I had placed a goal that I wanted to move out by the end of last year, actually. And I had a dream that I was moving out in November. And I said, okay, well, I'll aim for that. But then I got to the point where I really felt like I needed to go. It was time. And I myself was getting very anxious and just like, I need to go. I can't wait till November. I gotta go. Not that my parents were doing anything wrong or anything like that. I was just ready. I really was ready to be in my own space, to be detached from everything. Because whether you want to or mean to or not, when you live with people, their issues become your issues. And I attached a lot of guilt to myself because I was doing things up under their household that they weren't able to do, and I felt like it was off the backs of my parents because they weren't charging me a whole lot to live there. And so it allowed me to travel, it allowed me to shop endlessly, Lord goodness. And it allowed me to do so much, and I watched them struggle. And so I actually felt bad because it was just like, it's not that they you know, didn't have to feed me, but I was another person that attributed to the light bill and to this bill and to that bill. So I tried to kind of alleviate that by picking up a bill. Not only did I pay rent, but I started paying another bill too to help out. And yeah, and they never made me feel like that, but I did. And I also just felt like it was time for me to move on. It was time. And the Lord honored me by allowing me this apartment. He honored me in moving up my timeline. He honored me in my prayers of saying, Lord, I'm ready to go. Please make a way. And he did. He completely made a way, and it was a way that I can afford. Unfortunately, I had to move outside. I think I've talked about this before. I grew up in the St. Pete area. It's very expensive to live there now, and I couldn't afford the rent there, which is why I stayed home so long as well. On top of I didn't want to deal with bills in school in that capacity. So it kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone too. I love the area that I live in now. I love my apartment. I love being close to all of my favorite stores. I love the shopping in this area. I love how convenient it is to get to where I need to get to. The quality of a lot of things are a little bit better in this area as well. And so I really appreciate the Lord for honoring me in that way and blessing my decision that I made without him. Because I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I gotta go. So that was another good thing that happened. And in that process, the Lord really kept me during the entire process. My fees were not as exuberant as they could have been. I did not have to pay because I moved. I don't know if it was because I moved during a pandemic and they were trying to, you know, get, I don't know, but my moving fees, I did not have to pay first, last, you know, a lot of the things that are standard. I literally had to pay a deposit, which was only like, I think maybe $150. It wasn't a lot. And then my prorated rent. And I got the keys, and what they did for me was they upgraded my apartment at no additional cost. When I got here, I had all new appliances, up-to-date appliances, all new cabinets in the bathroom, in the kitchen area. They came in and fixed like little things that I had seen. They repainted everything for me. I believe they replaced the carpet. I'm not sure though, because I don't know, but it wasn't dirty, it wasn't nasty or anything when I moved in. So they did all of that, and they did not upcharge me at all. My rent was still the same, so that was a blessing in itself. And I was concerned because the last time I had utilities in my name, I was living with a roommate, and she did not help me pay the remainder of those bills that were in my name at all, even though that was our agreement. She didn't abide by it, which, you know, if y'all want to know about our roommate experience, drop down and let me know. But so I was concerned. I knew that I had paid, but then companies changed because Florida Power was bought out by Duke, and Spectrum now turned into whatever. But I remember that I had paid those things, but I didn't know, like, you know how all the process worked. And it was so simple, you guys, getting my utilities on. My deposit for my power wasn't outrageous. I remember when I got the utility in that old apartment, it was outrageous, and they were telling me like it was based on the previous person's pay history or some bull crap or whatever. But it wasn't like that here. And I literally have loved being in my own space. I'm still furnishing and things like that, but I really loved everything, and the process was phenomenal. And so the Lord kept me during that entire process, even when I wasn't allowed to work my 2 weeks. So that meant my last check was going to be short, and it was not enough to pay my rent and pay the bills that I had. I had about a month that I needed to cover before my start date of my more than a month, because you have to wait a week and a whole to get paid. And the Lord kept me during that time as well. My sister allowed me to borrow my rent money to cover myself, because I did not have the savings after, you know, moving and everything like that. Because I moved in June and I left that job in July. And the Lord kept me during that. I still had my second job, which allowed me, even though it was a small, you know, it wasn't a lot of money, you know, but it allowed me to keep my car insurance up. It allowed me to keep my internet on, all of my Hulu's and all those expenses. It allowed me to keep groceries in my house. So even though I had a month and a half without income, that part-time job carried me along with my family. And I didn't even know, you know, I mean, my family is really solid. I can't even, you know what I'm saying? I can't even say my mom and my sister, and they've been like that my entire life. I don't even give them enough credit. But that happened, and then that's another thing. I asked the Lord for a second job, and again, he granted my petition for a second job. And I worked that second job for a long time, well, for half the year, a little more than half the year. And it was no weekends. I got a cool shift again. Every time I ask the Lord for a second job, he always allows me to get something that works with my schedule, that doesn't interrupt my main job, and it didn't. That job was from 6 to 9. And there was no weekends. It was hard. But let me tell you, after I learned that lesson at that job, because I basically said, like, I'm tired of having to work a second job to accommodate my pay. I'm gonna just start whatever. When I got to this job, they were offering unlimited overtime. They're still offering it. So not only did I start with a higher salary than both of my two jobs combined, I was able to get extra money to catch up on things that, like, I was only paying the minimum balance on my credit card. So I was able to catch up on that stuff with the overtime. I was able to buy Christmas gifts and everything. So the Lord just was really, really good to me during that time and really kept me. So that was something that was good that happened to me, and that I'm still beaming about, because listen, I don't know if you guys know what a strong man is, but if you do not, do some research. On the Day of Atonement of last year, the Lord allowed my strong man that had been bound to me to be released. And that was huge for me, both physically and spiritually. And it's allowing so many things to open for me that were blocked before. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to scare y'all. But that was something that was probably like the highlight of my entire year. Like that was the bomb. And so now let's talk about things that I didn't think I was gonna reach last year, but I did. I stayed consistent on YouTube, and I did not think that was gonna happen, because girl, I believe in not post. I will just, you know, whatever is going on. So yeah, girl, that happened. I stayed consistent on YouTube, and I met my subscriber goal during Vlogmas, which was amazing. I actually surpassed it by 20. So that was an amazing thing that happened to me, and I am excited to keep growing my YouTube and keep pushing forward. Another, you know, just on some just other things that were really highlighted for me, I was able to watch my nephew a lot more. I got way closer to him. This TT's baby. Auntie has him all the time. But I really watched. He's so smart. And I love that I had the time to really... I moved in this apartment with my baby because I did not want to miss my weekend. So, but he's so smart. He's so intuitive. And I was able to actually see that and sit in that and soak in that. I watched my beautiful little sister get engaged to her boyfriend of 3.5 years, or it may be longer, girl. I don't keep up with them like that, but which was also beautiful. I watched my sister, my older sister, just slay the day. She set a goal despite, you know, the hard things that happened to her and to us as a family last year. And she kept the course forward, but she did not allow herself to compartmentalize her feelings. She actually dealt with a lot of things instead of letting it sit and just, I'll get to it when I get to it, which I'm very proud of her for. I watched her do her travel nurse thing like a boss and pay her house off 25 years early, which was amazing. I watched my parents understand each other more and really like call out issues that they were having. I doubt, you know, they're not going nowhere, but I was proud of them for that. I watched them take financial struggles and big financial things and not get bogged down by it, and I'm so proud of them. They pushed through, and I'm proud of my siblings, those of us that came in and helped despite what we had going on for the cause. Just solid. My brothers are doing well. Everybody is still healthy. My mother got corona and beat it with all of her pre-existing conditions. which was amazing. That was also something that sucked that happened to us last year, that I was actually really worried about. So put that on the bad list. But the good side is my mom kicked Corona's ass and recovered quite nicely. So I watch my mom eat well, and I don't know if you have a family member that deals with diverticulitis. You know that that's a hard feat. And I was just glad to see it. My grandmother is still alive and well, and that's amazing to me. My homie, that's my road dog. That's my shopping partner in crime, and she's still here. She's still here, still wild, still granny. So yeah, I didn't miss a birthday for anybody, and everyone was here to celebrate their birthdays. And my friend group, although there was some discord, I think just from, you know, isolation, life, all those kind of things, they're doing well. So I love that. I love that both my friends found the value in themselves, in their work, and decided to stick up for themselves and say, I need more money, I need more of this. If you're not trying to get me to this, what I loved about watching my friend group this year more than any year is we were all on some, you know what, why is we working multiple jobs, why are we struggling, why are we having to do this? Cut it. We're about to boss up and level up and stop doing this. And the first lesson that I learned that I know I'll take with me, and it has actually allowed me to better meet people where they are and leave people where they at if need be. And it is to stop allowing people to unload their issues onto you, their baggage onto you, when they do not take sound advice, when they do not take the advice of people that are actually trying to guide them in a better way so that they can stop having that type of baggage. And that's a word. So and just to tag and add on to that, if you don't feel like dealing with other people's issues, or if you have a person that is only coming to you when they have an issue, drop that mother trucker. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Leave them right where it's at. Sometimes, you know, as friends, as sisters, as whatever, you have to be as wives, as companions to other people, a sounding board. Some people just want to vent. But that can't be all that you are, because if you're anything like me, I worry and I hold for, you know, not my situation, but I'll hold on to that and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are doing this, and and I automatically start coming up with ways on how to get this person out of it, and they won't take that advice. They won't help. They'll just complain and not devise a plan on how to eliminate this out of their lives, or, you know, and it's just like, girl, not only did I waste my brain power, but now I'm carrying out the baggage too, because it's just like, I don't understand why you won't reach your full potential, and you cannot change the heart of people, honey. Only God can, okay? So the next thing that I learned was, if you are rooted in dry places, nothing will grow despite your best efforts. So you have to be very careful with where you anchor yourself. If you're anchoring your things on things that are fleeting, that can be a trend today and be gone tomorrow, you're always going to be shifty. You're always going to be antsy. It's never going to work out how you want it to work out. You have to anchor yourself where it counts. Anchor yourself in places that are fruitful and will multiply your actions. Do not anchor your place in things that quite frankly can be here today and gone tomorrow. So I really learned that this year. And the last thing is, you can and you will level up if you change your mindset. Oh my goodness, mindset was so key this year. I even caught myself, like, when I was ready to like wallow and just be like, this is some crap, I'd be like, but wait a minute, No, it doesn't have to be though, because I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice if I want to accept this. I have a choice if I want to deal with this. And that is the biggest thing. So some things that I'm going to focus on and nip in the bud. This year I turned 30. And I'm ready. I'm not afraid to turn 30 at all. My 20s, I think it gave what it was supposed to give for me. Like, it gave enough. That's for damn sure. The majority, I think out of my 20s, and I hate to say, well, I don't hate to say this, but I'm sad to say this. I maybe had 2 or 3 good years, maybe. 2 full good years for sure. And maybe a half, but I'm ready to leave this right where it's at. I'm very proud of it. I've done so much work in my 20s on myself that I'm ready to focus on putting myself out there to date and things like that, because now I can come to a person as a whole person. Because, you know, hurt people, and I'm not hurt. But that also means that my expectations are set higher too, because I'm not coming with my 100 and you trying to get me with your 50. No, baby. A second focus is my journey to law school, which I will be sharing with you guys. That is going to be the new Thursday video. I am going to share with you guys my journey to law school, and then God willing, flip that and show you guys my journey through law school. So look out for those videos. I'm very excited. I'm very ready. The Lord does this for me every time. He sets me in a very sweet spot and gently nudges me and say, okay, daughter, it's time. It's time. So that has always been my dream, to be an attorney, and despite all the twists and turns that life has thrown at me, I never let that dream go, and I'm very confident that I can accomplish it, and I'm setting out to do so. So that's another focus, is my journey to law school. So whoo, baby, I can't believe I can even say that. The third thing is the relaunch of my business. My business suffered in 2020. I basically put that mug on a back burner because I just could not. Okay. But that was my baby. That was my fire baby. I was very excited for it. And so that's another series that's going to be on my channel on Saturdays. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but I want to build a business with you guys, with those of you that want to build a business. And I also want to test some of these earn extra income theories and things. So I'll be sharing that with you guys as well. But relaunching of my business is another focus that's for me this year. So I'm excited. Continuing to organically grow my social media and YouTube. So I will also be completing that process as well. And so that's happening. Keeping up on my female maintenance is a priority this year as well. Another priority that I want to share with you guys, because y'all know we'll do it. We will get so wrapped up in everybody else's stuff that we just put ourselves on the back burner, and I'm going to stop doing that because I'm suffering per usual. Like, every time I say this, I'm like, why am I suffering? Like, I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never forget my mom was like, girl, you are single with no children. Your only responsibility is you. You should be bathing in vanilla and lavender and getting petty and doing all the things. And so, yes. The next thing is to work on my finances. I'm tired of working on my finances. So this will be the last year that I'm working on that mess. Because we're going to wrap this up. And another priority is going to be to save, because I do want to purchase a property. So I want to begin to save. Another priority is me. I'm prioritizing myself this year. I'm not going to be as selfish as I think I want to be, because I just don't think that's my heart. Like, I cannot. But I am prioritizing myself, and I'm going to stop overextending and exerting myself to people who don't deserve it. So, And if you can, if you find the time, please, please, please support your girl and follow me on Instagram at @plusgirlslay. You can also follow me on Facebook at @plusgirlslay if you still have a Facebook, if that's a thing. And maybe on TikTok. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm just on TikTok for the recipes. But thank you guys for all of the love. Thank y'all so much for all the love and support that you guys continuously show for your girl. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year's. Blessings, love, and light to you all. Bye.